Thanks for watching our podcast. Here at Spear Consulting, our services include business strategy and human resources consulting. In HR, we offer executive search, executive coaching, and work psychology consulting. Please visit us at spiritmco.com, where we fulfill our clients' dreams virtuously. Enjoy your show.
Welcome back to the Leading Virtuously podcast. So excited to have Kehinde on the show today. Who are you? Let's go.
Well, like you rightly said, I'm Kehinde Eniola, originally from Nigeria. I am a physician and also a wife. I'm married. I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old son and a soon-to-be 2-year-old daughter.
Oh, wow. 7 and 2. Wow, you are busy.
I am busy. I have 2 jobs. I have my job at Moses Cone, and then I get home to my kids. That's my second job.
Wow, I love it. You know, you're the first physician that we've had on the show thus far.
Oh, great. That's interesting.
Yeah, so thank you for being on. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got to the leadership position that you're in today?
Well, as Helia mentioned, I'm a Nigerian and I completed my medical training in Nigeria in 2006. Came to the US thereafter, did all my board exam, the USMLE exam they call it. In 2009, I started my residency training at New York Medical College St. Joseph Hospital. That training I completed in 2012, and I became a community physician with Wake Forest Baptist Health thereafter. I believe I spent about a year and few months with Wake Forest Baptist Health before joining Moses Cone Family Medicine Residency Program in 2014 as a junior faculty member. Since then, with mentoring and completion of various leadership program, including Cone Health Physician Leadership Academy, and also, most importantly, with the help of God, I became the clinic associate director and subsequently the director. So that's what brought me to where I am today.
Wow. That is quite a wild ride for sure. From another continent to this continent, and yeah, the growth that you've had both as a clinician and then now as a leader. So as a director, what is the reporting structure? Like, how many people report to you, and tell me more about the role now as a director.
So as the clinic director, you have a resident working closely with you, and we have 8 residents per class, a total of 3 classes.
Okay.
And also we have CMAs, RN, as well as the front office staff working with me closely in the clinic. And basically we supervise the resident, we work closely with the CMAs to take good care of our patients. Basically, that's what I do. And I also take care of the clinic day-to-day activities, make sure things are functioning the way they should be functioning.
So I always am wondering, like, you know, I remember back in I think it was high school when they were like dissecting frogs. Like, I was like, no, absolutely not me. When did you know that you wanted to be a physician? And when did you know that that was a reality for your life?
You know, I actually didn't know that I wanted to be a physician. I wanted to be an agriculturist. Like I mentioned, I did my medical training in Nigeria. And back then in Nigeria, I enrolled in an agriculture program, which I enjoyed. And I actually came out as the best 10 student at the end of the course. And the school department decided to offer me a better education, so to speak, because I did very well. And they recommended that I go into pharmacy or medicine. I have to choose either pharmacy or medicine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it took a lot of counseling and support from my parents, from my dad especially. And he encouraged me to select medicine. And since then, I've loved it. I would not have enjoyed anything else other than medicine. So I'm glad I chose this path.
Excellent. So, So this, this podcast is all about virtuous leadership. Can you tell us a little bit about where virtue and leadership, virtue and business, or leadership interacts for you?
Well, I believe moral virtue is important in all aspects of our lives, including your job. Like wherever you go, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing, you're diligent at work, you're trustworthy. So, for instance, as a leader, if you expect your follower to be trustworthy, you have to be an example. So, if you steal from your job, you get to work late, you manipulate things, and you don't do things right, you wouldn't expect your follower or your team member to do the right thing, right? So, regardless of who's watching you or what you're doing, you want to make sure you do the right thing at the right time, because at the end of the day, I remember this Bible passage in Hebrews 6:10, I believe it is. And I'm just going to paraphrase. It says that God will not forget your good work, especially when you're doing it for the saints. In other words, even when no one is watching you, when your boss is not watching you, guess what? God is watching you. So you want to make sure that moral virtue is there. You're doing the right thing when it's necessary. You're trustworthy. You're diligent at work, and you are not tatty, so to speak. So just make sure you have that clean virtue, regardless of who is watching you. You're not doing it for man. You're doing it for God.
Hmm. So that's a very impressive and powerful faith, Kehinde. Have you always had this, moral and virtuous walk, or did you have to go through a different, season in your life? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time. Like you don't become perfect all of a sudden. Like you have life experiences, um, as a child growing up, because you want to impress people, you tend to do wrong things. And at the end of the day, maybe someone figure out what you did was wrong, and you feel mortified because of that. So me realizing that going the wrong way is not always the best thing, I think that kind of helped me understand that you always have to do things right. And also the fact that I'm a Christian and I give my life to Christ. And one of the things that is expected of you as a child of God is to be trustworthy, to be righteous. If you don't have that moral virtue and you're not righteous, then you're not pleasing God. At the end of the day, you're thinking more of how can I please my God than how can I please man. So men might say, it's okay for you to lie a little bit about your resume. It's okay for you to forge something or um, not be truthful. But God is saying that is not right. You have to do it right. So as a Christian, you have to please God and not man. Does that make sense, kind of?
Oh, it makes perfect sense for sure. And yeah, no, I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing in that way. Um, so you grew up in Nigeria and you came to the United States, I think you said in 2006.
Correct.
What was life like in Nigeria before coming here? Because I think that sometimes we think about other countries and have no idea what that may have looked like, and to go from that to the life that you're living today.
Well, it depends on what part of Nigeria you came from or you're living in. So, and also your standard of living, because we have like a very low standard of living. We have the medium, the middle, and then the high standard of living. So I would say I came from the middle standard of living, where you have your parents taking care of you, paying for your school fees, and making sure you're educated. But you also have the other lower socioeconomic status, where they don't have access to school, no access to healthcare, and it's even difficult for them to have 3 square meal. So life, I would say, certainly in Nigeria is different compared to the U.S. And a lot of folks coming from other country comes to the U.S. to better their life and make sure they're able to pull other people up rather than just being the only person at the top.
Got it. What did your parents do for a living?
So my dad was an engineer, is now dead. He died in 2010. My mom, no, that's fine. It's been a while. My mom used to be a banker. She's now retired.
Hmm. And is your mom still in Nigeria, or is she here, or where is she?
She's in the US.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So when did she make the move?
Well, she's actually been in the US since the 1970s.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
she knew my
you came
dad
you came later.
actually. Yeah, it's because of my parents that we are here today.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, even though I was born in Nigeria, they were going back and forth, the US, Nigeria, and eventually we all came here with my siblings.
Hmm. I get. And so how many siblings do you have?
Two brothers and two sisters.
Oh, okay. So pretty big family then.
Yeah, huge family.
And are they all in the baby making mode too?
Not quite, because I'm the youngest of the family.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're a little bit much older than I am.
Hmm. So gotcha. So that uh so yeah, so how many grandkids does your mom have?
Well, let's see. I would say about 12.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, approximately 12, because I'm gonna have to count, but I think on an average 12.
Hmm. That's awesome. My parents have 22.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm the fifth of six kids,
Oh,
so we're just trying to repopulate the state of Illinois with Gomez's.
which is not bad.
Mm. Yeah, it's just being open to life, and as you said,
Exactly.
letting God do whatever He wants to do as it relates
Absolutely. Absolutely.
to that. So good. Kehinde, as a physician, I'm just kind of curious, like, this podcast is all about leadership too. Like, what do you like, having had that corner of the world? What do you now understand about being a physician and within medicine that most people as outsiders may not understand?
Well, a lot of people out there think medicine is all about the money, but I don't think it's all about the money. I think it's all about caring for others. It's all about making sure someone that needs help get that healthcare needs that they need at that point in time. I'm not saying you don't get paid for what you do. Yes, you do, but you have to be passionate about the job before you can do it well. If the passion is not there and you're all about the money, then you're just wasting your time. It's all about your heart, having a very big heart, and being patient enough to listen to others. You have to be a very good communicator. You want to listen to your patient, you want to come to their level. Cultural humility is very important in healthcare because you have to connect with your patient from where they're coming from. So I see different patients from different cultural backgrounds, some from Africa, some from India, from Mexico, just name it. And they all come to see the provider thinking this person needs to talk to me at my level. Communication, at times I might not understand their language. How do I make sure they understand what I'm talking about? How can I be more patient and compassionate to this particular individual that I'm taking care of? So again, medicine is not all about the money, but it's about your time, your heart, cultural immunity, most importantly.
Well, why do you do it? I know you mentioned that the school was like, look, you got two options, pharmacy or medicine. And so not many choices there. But now that you're in it, why do you stay in it?
So I stayed in it because eventually I realized that I am a people person.
Hmm.
So if I'm in agricultural sector, all I'm doing is farming or taking care of animals or whatever aspect of agriculture I'm involved in. But I think that is going to be boring for me actually because I like communicating with people. I like hearing other people's stories, what is going on in their life, and how that is impacting their healthcare status in general. And that's the reason why I stayed because I've had a lot of success in counseling patients out of their depression or their anxiety, which can negatively impact their healthcare in terms of their blood pressure or diabetic control. So for me, making connection with that person, with that individual, knowing them, knowing where they're coming from, and helping them become a better person.
Yeah, I would agree with that in that it's easy to talk with you, and I've had some physicians that are so smart that they're almost like completely socially awkward. So they they just can't do the easy connection with people.
Yeah,
And then, as you mentioned, like, as you're taking care of the whole person, you have to be able to figure out the root cause of what's going on. And maybe that,
absolutely.
especially in primary care, walking into a clinic, that may not be as easy to ascertain as maybe some other areas of medicine too. So you have to be able to get the your patient to be able to open up and share what's going on. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's a good point about recognizing, that strength too of, just like recognizing for people that are, watching this podcast and they may not have, they're either thinking about a career change or they're still trying to figure out what they want to do in their career. It's
Mm-hmm.
if you do recognize that like you generally interact really well with people, then finding a career that intersects with that and leverages those strengths instead of trying to put yourself in a position if you're completely introverted and hate talking to people, that finding a role that is going to do that is just going to be terrible for your own career development.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
love that. So what are you the most passionate about in your life right now?
Well, I believe my family, my husband and my two kids, I love them so dearly. I want them to be successful in life. My kids are growing up, and I want to instill in them the the love of God, and I want them to be be in good standing, so to speak, with God. Because if they have God in them, I believe they'll be able to connect with the world without difficulty, right? They'll be able to excel in school and interact with other people in the right way.
So maybe some people have not even started to go down that journey, or maybe you might be able to inspire, give some other ways to think about that other people haven't. What are some of the ways that you're going about doing that with your own children?
Well, again, it's all about leadership by example. Like you show them what is right, because children learn by observing. They watch their parents what they're doing. Are you a parent that drinks a lot of alcohol? Are you a parent that smoke? Or are you a parent that watch terrible things on television? That's exactly what your children will do. So if you want to train your children in the way of the Lord in the right way, then you have to do the right thing. You have to show them that on Sunday we put everything aside and go to church. You want to let them know that at nighttime or bedtime, we close our eyes and pray to God. I mean, you have to show them, you have to show it to them. They learn by observing.
Mhm. Thank you. That definitely encourages me because that is definitely the way that I'm raising my kids. But they've gone through a divorce, so they live half the time in a completely different world, and
Mm-hmm.
then they come where
Yeah,
it's just night and day. So it's kind of like a social experiment at times, in the way that they're being raised.
yeah,
But yeah, that is encouraging because, like as you said, I think the other cool thing with that too is to just get to see like the outcomes of that too, of
absolutely.
seeing when you live
Absolutely.
a really moral life and then the blessings that flow in that too. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's so great. So no, I absolutely loved having you on the podcast today. I appreciate you just sharing your heart about your own journey and also just your moral convictions too. I mean, you definitely, walk the walk and talk the talk. So I appreciate that because,
Thank you.
words without actions are just empty. So But yeah, I really enjoyed having you on the podcast today. And thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Chris here. Hope you enjoyed the episode where we discussed all things going bald. Just joking. The Leading Virtuously podcast. If you enjoyed the episode and the podcast, will you please subscribe on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify? Or you could also share it with a friend. That would be tubular. I hope you have an awesome day.